Hi, I'm Chris Miglino with Sequire, and we are here at the world-famous Roth conference down in Dana Point, California. And we are here with Mag Silver, Peter McGaw, the CXO. Do you know what a CXO is? So that is a Chief Exploration Officer. And Peter, welcome. Thanks for joining us
Pleasure
today.
to be here, Chris.
Thank you very much. So you guys have mines all across the world, in mostly in this continent here, right? And I think you have stuff up in Canada, in Utah, and Mexico.
Correct.
I think
Only Mexico is a mine.
Oh, okay, only Mexico's
So
mine.
3 big projects. The one in Mexico is a mine.
So tell us about the business. Give us an introduction to the company, and tell the people that were watching here today about the company.
Okay, so MAG is 1 month shy of our 21st birthday. We were set up essentially during nuclear winter, the period from 97 to 2002 when there wasn't much interest in our sector. And we set ourselves up to look for high-grade silver district scale. So something to make a big mine, high enough grade to make money under pretty much any market conditions. If you can do that, you can survive, and the size gives you several market cycles. So when prices are bad, you can sleep at night. When prices are better, you can party all night if that's your predilection. And you get to do it for decades if you find the right deposit. And we've been very fortunate. And in Mexico, we found a deposit that will do that for us.
And what's the process of identifying a deposit? How do you go about doing this? This is obviously your area.
It's all magic,
right?
Yeah, no, it's do your homework, read the literature, understand why the big deposits are where they are, and then look along the belts where those occur, where something's missing. Because a lot of these deposits have a periodicity like a string of pearls, and if you're going along and there's a couple of pearls missing, well, it tells you there ought to be something in here. And so, I mean, the old saw is the best place to find a mine is in the shadow of a head frame. So near a historic mine or within a belt of historic mines. So you start by trying to figure out, are the ones in this neighborhood big enough? Am I in elephant country? And am I in a place where I can get enough property to be able to find the whole elephant, not just get a piece of it?
And how has technology changed? Obviously, because you're 1 month short of the 20th birthday. 20 years ago, looking for silver had to be way different than it is today. How has AI technology played into finding more deposits?
Well, AI hasn't really found more deposits yet.
Okay.
It probably will. What AI lets you do is take basic geologic and especially geophysical information and process it sort of a multitude of times. Rather than making one set of assumptions and saying, this is where the target is, it makes thousands of assumptions, varying each of the variables, and then you get the clusters of results that say, this is the most likely place that gave me this signal that I want to drill, and then you put the drill hole into that. So this is a process that's just really being applied now to exploration. When we started 20 years ago, this started the good old-fashioned way with boot leather geology, walking out, mapping the rocks, sampling the rocks, reading the literature, coming up with a good idea of where to look for what we felt was a missing piece of the world's biggest silver district, the Fresnillo district, and we were right.
And when the cost infrastructure, like down in Mexico, what is it? Once you find it, which I'm sure is a task and a half, right? Because your whole exploration background is based on finding it. But once you do find it, what's that cost infrastructure that it takes to build the facility, to get it out of the ground, and to bring it to market?
Well, in the case of the Juanicipio joint venture, which we're in with Fresnillo PLC, the world's largest silver miner, who operate 2 mines immediately next door. So there's some synergies that come from that. It costs a little under $500 million to build the mine, build a 4,000 ton a day metallurgical plant, and all the bells and whistles and employees and training and all the stuff that comes along with that.
So a little bit of a barrier to entry. Now, nobody's popping up silver mines all over the place, but they do. Somebody has.
Oh, but if you focus from the beginning on something that's big enough and high enough grade, that's stellar grade. We probably have the best silver grade of any mine on the planet. Actually, it's not that hard to find the money.
Yeah, if you can prove that it's there and you can prove the recurring revenue.
Yeah, and we were lucky. We hit on the first drill hole, and so we have financed over the years. We've done it all with equity. We have no debt, and we're now recovering that money that we loaned to the joint venture. So we get to recover that money as essentially recovery of a loan with interest, and then we'll go off and start talking about real profit for the next 20 years. So
in 2023, if you have your numbers out for all of 23 yet.
They just came out this morning.
Okay, yeah. And so the revenue for the year is what? What did you guys do for 2023?
We sold on a 100% basis. It's complicated because this was a ramp up year. So we started off running a lot of low-grade stockpile to make sure the mill operated properly. And then we began running better and better mine grade through it. So we produced 16.5 million ounces of silver. Average price was about just under $25 an ounce. Plus we have gold, plus we have lead and zinc. So we produced that silver for about $3.75 an ounce cash cost, all-in sustaining cost of just under $10.
Yeah, I was looking at the net margin is fantastic in your business.
Yeah. In our particular case, yes, because it's all about margin. So, you can have mines that don't have high grade that have a very narrow margin, and you have mines with high grade that have a big margin, and that's what we went for from the beginning, and the deposit is proving that was the right thing.
So those margins are going to be what, in the 60% or 70% range?
Yeah, in our particular case, yeah.
Interesting.
So, it cost us, on an all-in sustaining basis, it was, call it $10. We sold the silver during 2023 for $23.50. So we were making $13.50 per ounce.
Okay, great.
So a pretty tidy profit.
And the other facilities, the Utah and what's in Canada, are those they're not drilled yet? You're not
They're exploration properties. We're drilling on both of them right now.
Okay.
One drill turning in Utah. We have 2 drills turning in Canada.
And what happens there for the layman that's watching this, right? You identify that, hey, this is a place where we think there's some silver. You start to drill at that location, and you try to find where the deposit is, and then you keep going from there. And that's the process.
You come in with a model. You come in with an idea of what the system should look like. You try to fit the pieces that you can see into that model, where actually those pieces define the model to a significant degree. And then you get out the drill and you try to find it. And it's not just silver. In Utah, the property is rich in silver historically, with a good gold, copper, lead, and zinc credit. And the property in Canada is a gold property. It's a classic, what they call Abitibi style gold mineralization. The Abitibi is one of the world's great gold fields. It's produced over 200 million ounces of gold from deposits that go from 1 or maybe 2 million ounces to as much as 30 million ounces. So we have one right next door that produced 12, and we're on a stretch of one of the major regional structures that is very well endowed with gold and has been underexplored.
It's a fascinating business, and one that it seems like once you find that deposit and you build the facility, it pays the rewards for years to come. So it's a lot of work finding it, but once you find it, that's when you're struck gold, so they say.
It's a lot of work to build the mine, and it's a lot of work to keep the mine running. But the fun part is finding it.
And that's the part where where do you start finding silver? What's the process? Like, you have the whole world,
Right.
how do you even decide where to start, just by this idea of looking for that missing link because you know it's already somewhere else? Or could you even start somewhere fresh and say, I think this would be a good spot for us to start to look?
Well, you can do that geologically, but it's a cliche. But if you're elephant hunting, you go to elephant country.
Right.
So you go to places where people have found elephants before, and you learn their habitat, and you learn where they are, when they are, why they are, and you look for more. In the case of silver, you go to Mexico. 25% of all the silver that's mined in human history has come from Mexico. And when you look around the world, there are 15 districts that have produced more than 1 billion ounces of silver. 8 of those are in Mexico, including Fresnillo, which at 3.3 billion ounces is the world's largest single silver district. So that's pretty convincingly elephant country. So that's where you go. Just like in the Abitibi, it's one of the world's great gold belts. And, we now have technology. I mean, you were talking about applying updated technology. There's a lot of geophysics that goes into exploration in the Abitibi because there's not much exposure. So everything you're doing, you're trying to see through cover. And so that's a place where we expect artificial intelligence to actually be very useful for us.
And the what's next for the business? You've built this big mine down in Mexico. You're benefiting from that. Where do you see over the next 10 years? What's the vision? If people are looking at the business and saying, this is where we think the company's going over the next 10 years, what do you are the most excited about?
Well, I'm an explorationist, so that's what gets me out of bed every day. But the exciting thing about MAG is with this cash flow generator we have in Mexico, we have 44% of the cash flow off is one of the world's 1 or 2 most profitable silver mines. Our partners are the ones who operate the mine. So they're doing all the heavy lifting. They do a good job of it. That means we get the revenue stream that comes off of that, and we can do several things with it. One, we can top up the gas tank so we have plenty to work with going forward. We can consider, we can use some of that for ongoing exploration, and then we can look at a way to, satisfy our patient and loyal shareholders with a share buyback or a dividend of some kind once we feel that we're comfortably set financially. So we think MAG has a very bright future in that department.
Well, it sounds fascinating, and I've enjoyed learning a little bit about the silver mining process here today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So make sure you watch out for it. MAG Silver. And thank you very much. I appreciate you coming today. Thank you very much.